Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Radio. You just listened to Wheels of Steel, classic from Saxon. With us tonight, we've got Biff Byford of Saxon. How are you doing, brother?
Good. It's good to be there with you all.
Absolutely. It's always wonderful to have you, and it's always wonderful to have new music, which is on its way. It was announced today that this month's release of Saxon's 20th studio album, Sacrifice, has actually been pushed back a month, though, to the same date in March. What's the story?
The story is the booklet wasn't good enough. The manufacturing of the booklet was a bit rough. So we pride ourselves on good packages. So record company decided to do it again.
Gotcha. So it's coming, people. It's just going to be exactly 1 month later, is my understanding. Is that correct? Because the website says a week.
Right, yeah. It's just a matter of getting them all printed again and sent out to all the factories that manufacture the CDs, and then it'll be good. It's worth waiting for, believe me.
It is. I've fortunately had a chance to listen to it and review it, and I think it's a wonderful album. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But you and Paul Quinn in particular have been riding the wheels of steel known as Saxon for 35 years. When you and I were growing up, a band lasting 10 years was considered a milestone. Do you think about the longevity of Saxon at all?
No, we don't really think about it. I mean, somebody told us it was our 20th album. We were like, really? So, we don't really, bother too much about years and birthdays and, how many albums we have. We just get on with it, basically.
Well, spending countless hours in studios and then being constantly on tour, what keeps that fire burning in your belly after all this time to keep going out there and doing this?
Well, we have a good passion for the music, really. That's one of the secrets. And I think, we love to make new albums and sort of move on and, try and get new fans, try and pull out fans back, try and entertain ourselves as well as the fans. So I think it's a passion for our style of music, really. That's the secret, I think.
Right. You said when you were making this album, you wanted to dip into that raw, early sound of Saxon, yet keep the album sounding modern. Do you feel that you achieved that goal with Sacrifice? Yeah,
I think because I produced it myself, I sort of had an idea of how I thought it should sound, the whole Saxon thing. And, I wanted it to have a flavour of some of our earlier stuff from the 80s, the type of stuff Metallica likes so much, the thrash metal, fast stuff, and I just thought we could go back there and maybe try write a couple of songs like that, which we did. So it's good to keep one foot in the past and one in the present, really.
The new album, Sacrifice, is certainly heavier than the last album, Call to Arms. The guitars are more muscular, and the album itself is just meatier. There's more to it, it feels like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted it to sound like Marshalls and Gibsons, I wanted to try and bring some of the power of our live performances onto CD. We just let them rip, sort of thing,
Sounds like the world's coming to me.
Let me just clear this away. Sorry. Just give me a ring. 15 minutes. I'm just on the phone with Mark here. 15 minutes. Bye. Sorry about that. Was my manager.
Oh, sorry.
I had to take his call. He'll keep ringing constantly. Okay, we're back on the thing. Yeah, so I wanted it to be, a mixture really of our early influences and our sort of more modern influences. Well, I brought things like twin guitars back into the band a bit.
Yeah, I think you hit that on all cylinders with trying to achieve what you were, and of course you had the incredible Andy Schneep did the mixing and mastering on it. So
yeah, he's great. He's got a great reputation. Just a lot of bands, Kill Switch and bands like that. So he's quite up there with the modern techniques. But he liked, he liked working. I like working with the songs. He was a bit, when I first went over there and played him the songs, he was a bit, well, these are a bit, But he sent me a text message saying, "I love these songs, man." So I got really into it.
And what was it like for you, not only being the leader as you've always been, but also having to produce and guide and everything?
Well, it's a bit, when you're sort of producing your friends, it can be a bit. People can get a bit sort of, what we call in English, stroppy, get a little bit jealous sometimes. But, most of the time everything was fine. And everybody was into what I was trying to do, really. So, there was very little friction, just a couple of things here and there, where people didn't agree with some things, but we sorted them out.
Nice. And the album is packed with great material, but are there one or two songs that speak more loudly to you personally than others?
Yeah, I like Made in Belfast, I like writing songs about, about days gone by, about, sort of communities and people that have gone and, they're slipping into history, like the Belfast shipyards.
Right.
I visited them quite recently, and, it's sad to see that it's not there anymore and they don't make ships there anymore. So, it's just one of them songs, really. So I quite like that song. It's a mixture of Celtic, sort of a Celtic style of playing on the beginning, and then goes into some, a hugely metal riff. And then the verse is quite melodic, so I think it's quite uniquely Saxon, that song.
Right, and the history is such a great thing to delve into anyway.
I use history a lot. I'm not really, a big cliche rock and roll lyric writer. I do it occasionally, but most of the time, a lot of the lyrics that I write are they're like mini little books, they tell a story.
Well, and even the cover art, I think you tapped into a little bit of that influence.
Yeah, I was down in Mexico a couple of years ago on the 700 tons of metal cruise, and I did a tour of some of the Mayan temples. So I was quite interested in the human sacrifice. So that song really came from that meeting with a Mayan guide down there that was telling me all about the different things that they used to do. So these things stick in your head, don't they? And they come out in songs,
Yeah, it gives you a little more meat than just writing your typical rock and roll anthem. There's more behind it. So, and
yeah, I mean, it's a great metal. It's a great heavy metal title, Sacrifice. 100 bands have done it before, but it's just on our particular song. I just think the whole imagery is quite cool.
Well, and I think that first song, that's not the first song, but the first full song on the album, Sacrifice, it's got that classic Saxon sound, but it does still sound very modern. It's like you encapsulated everything you were trying to do in that title track.
Yeah, the track's the track's quite a modern metal track, but it has this sort of in the choruses, it has a flavour of a more classic 80s feel to it. So. Keeping the two together, was the trick, really. Making it sound modern so it appeals to, younger fans, but still retaining that sort of uniqueness that we have, for fans that have been with us for a long time.
Right. Now, you guys obviously are going to take this out on the road like you always do. How much of the new album are people going to get to hear on this tour?
Oh, I think 7 or 8 songs, definitely. We'll probably try and pack in as many as we can. It just depends how they sound live, really. We'll rehearse them, run them up and see what they sound like, and take it from there, really.
Well, and you guys are kicking the tour off here in March on the Monsters of Rock cruise. Obviously, you've already done the 70,000 tons of metal and everything, so cruises are no big... not news to you guys, but what's it like actually getting out there on a cruise and doing shows and stuff?
It's pretty good. We did more or less the first one. There's quite a lot of them now. There's one in Europe as well, going down in sort of spring. But yeah, they're cool. It's just that everybody's all together. You're with the fans, and obviously they're not all your fans; they're mixed fans. So. You get to hang out, sign autographs for the first couple of days, and then it seems to calm down a bit. People get used to you eating pizza with them, or hanging out in the bar. So it's pretty cool. There's not much. Everybody seems to be pretty together. Obviously they're paying quite a lot of money for their tickets, so obviously they want everything to be great.
Right. There's a bit of misinformation floating out there right now. Reports stated that Saxon was going to kick off the tour in America, but clearly that's not the case. I'm showing dates all in Europe.
We couldn't get that together in time for some reason. The agent there couldn't get it together. But we've just changed agents now, so we've gone with a new agency. So we're hoping that something will come together fairly soon. We were thinking of in May actually, but. We'll see how it goes. We do really want to come to America and do some shows, obviously. The album's getting good reviews in America already, so we should definitely tour on it. But, you know, it's that same old thing, you know. We can come and play some cities, and, but, you know, we just need to be on some good package, really.
Right, you know, that's really the thing for a band that's classic like you guys are. You guys have to be on a solid package, not with just 5 bands shoved on a bill or whatnot. It just doesn't do justice to the name or the music, so... But,
yeah, it'd be good with the package. We'll keep our fingers crossed here something comes through.
Wonderful. Now, you personally guested on the new Avantasia album. Can you share which track?
I think one of the tracks is, I think it's called Black Orchid or Orchid of Black or something like that. But it's difficult to tell because it's like a rock opera, isn't it? So
right.
Everything sort of flows into each other, you know. But I think it's Black Orchid I'm on, actually. That's the only thing I can tell you, really. You know, I don't want to blow it for Tobias.
Right.
You know, his album is. But I think I'm on a track called Black Orchid on one other track.
And how did you get involved in that? What was it like doing it?
Well, I know Tobias quite well, and you know, the band are huge Saxon fans, and he sang on stage with us a couple of times on 747, Strangers in the Night. So, yeah, he asked me to do the first one, but I couldn't do it because I was busy. So I think he got Alice Cooper to do that one. So, yeah, you know, I enjoyed it. It's good singing a different style. Yeah.
Nice. I got one fan-submitted question here for you. Most memorable Saxon moment for you?
Oh, I mean, there's been so many memorable moments, you know. You know, it depends whether you mean rock and roll or any. But yeah, there's been so many memorable moments. But I think maybe, you know, 2 memorable moments. One was obviously Castle Donington in 1982, which was our sort of first time we ever walked on stage in front of a lot of people, actually. You know, over 3,000, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And the other first thing was our first show in America was with Rush. And I think we played Jacksonville, Florida, I think, and 25,000 people. So that's the first time we ever saw people with their cigarette lighters in the air, you know. So that was a pretty moving thing for us as well.
Nice. Now it's all about the cell phones, right? And the glow sticks.
All about cell phones, yeah.
All right. So my fan question before we get out of here, this is just for me. When I was coming up, I always loved music, but the album that changed my life was Kiss Alive. Going back for you, what was that album, that moment of epiphany, the album, the song, whatever it was, that sort of changed things for you?
It has to be 2, really. It has to be the first Zeppelin album, you know, it changed my life, and Deep Purple, Machine Head was a fantastic album. I think those 2 albums really did it for me.
It's funny that you should mention that, too, because they just did that remachined tribute to the Machine Head album, and one of the first things I thought was, God damn, it would be nice to have had Saxon on one of these tracks.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So, definitely, it would have been great.
You guys have occasionally done a cover song here or there, but unlike so many other bands, you guys have never tooled up an entire tribute album or covers album covering some of this.
No, we haven't, actually. I mean, you know, that's we just haven't got ready time, to tell you the truth. We're so busy, you know, making albums and touring. It's... you know, I mean, what the thing is, being popular, you know, when you become popular again, it's a double-edged sword, really. You know, we went through a period in the 90s where, you know, we weren't as popular and we had lots of time on our hands. But now we're on the charge again. You know, we have very little time for anything, really.
Nice. Well, before the alarm goes off again with the big bad manager calling, famous last words.
Famous last words, keep the faith, they're coming.
Awesome. Biff Byford of Saxon, of course, the new album Sacrifice out here in America on March 26th and in Europe a few days before that. We can't wait to hear it, and of course we can't wait to see you. Biff, again, thanks so much for taking the time, and we will head out of here with Sacrifice.